Are the Minnesota Vikings for real, or are they frauds?
They have elements of fraudulence to them. You know, if you look at their results so far this year, and Phil has brought me around on this, teams like the Detroit Lions, who the Patriots curb stomped, they were a little bit life and death with. So the Patriots, you know, probably have more lopsided wins. The Vikings have been in a lot of dogfights, but they've emerged. They've also beaten Miami and they've beaten Buffalo. So they have games in their pocket where you say, pretty legit.
Yeah, I think they're 2022 for real. And you just said it. Like, they have great weapons. They don't have a great quarterback. They don't have a great defense. I don't know in this day and age if you can have great everything. Like, it's like you have to pick and choose. You want Justin Jefferson, you want Hawkinson, you want Cook. Okay, well, your quarterback's going to be mediocre to okay. Your defense might be lacking in a couple areas. Look, it's the same thing Kansas City. What'd they have to give up? They're a good team. Why? Because Patrick Mahomes is really good, but they had to give up their best playmaker in Hill. They still have, you pick and choose where you want to be good and where you want to be limited. So 2022, love it.
I do feel, though, Phil, like if you're going to be really good at a position, you probably want to be really good at quarterback, because a really good quarterback can make those other guys around them, the guys, be really good guys.
Sure. But I think where they are right now is they're just at a place where their record is not who they are. Like that old saying, the Bill Parcells, you are what your record says you are, not really what the Vikings know. They're 8-2 would suggest that they're a dominant team and that they're rolling over the NFL, and it's just not the way it's worked. They have a negative point differential so far this year, which is really hard to do given the number of games they won. And I would say that it is still impressive to come away with all of those close victories, and there are things they must be doing well in those close game situations to be able to have 8 wins at this point. But they're not a great team, like you said, Trenni. They're just not.
So does that mean that if the Patriots go in and win, I almost said tomorrow night, Thursday night, that it's not maybe as impressive as we would have thought a few weeks ago?
To me, it's very impressive because the Patriots would have to score. And I haven't seen really a lot of indications that they were on the cusp of the brink of the threshold of starting to score. So to me, that means that your offense went in and probably put up 17 points. So that'd be extremely impressive to me because I already know and I'm fairly well convinced that this is a well above average defense. So if the offense can even be pedestrian, that's impressive.
See, I think this will be impressive for the defense because I think this will be the best pelt that they'll have, talking about those weapons, going on the road, short week, and I think a little bit of a dangerous offense because...
Is it dangerous with Kirk Cousins, though? Like, isn't he the kind of quarterback that the Patriots feast on?
No, I don't think
He's not young. Right? That's usually part of the MO, right? But
he has weapons to work with, and they're a wounded animal. They got embarrassed last weekend.
At home.
The pass rush he was sacked 7 times, and you should be able to get pressure. They're without their left tackle, so you should be able to get some pressure. But those Justin Jefferson comments about, why don't we adjust? Why don't we get rid of the ball quickly? Why don't we get the ball to our playmakers? We have Dalvin Cook. We have Hawkinson underneath. I can run slants. Like that idea, I think you're going to see some adjustments from them. And if the Patriots meet that challenge, this is not Zach Wilson. This is not Sam Ehlinger. Like, Cousins is not going to be benched next week after this game like the quarterbacks you've been playing.
I find him a fascinating player because he's very much a paint-by-numbers quarterback. And if you give him looks, he'll do what the book says. He's not dynamic. He's not going to go off script and do things to you. That's why he will always be coveted by a Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, yeah, Kyle Shanahan loves him.
Because he is predictable. And he will start in this league for a long time. And Mac Jones will probably start in this league for a long time because there's an expected and anticipated level of performance, Phil. But they did make him turtle when they saw him in 2018 here at Gillette Stadium. He was checked down Charlie that day.
He was. That's why the Buffalo win really impressed me, because the number of down-the-field throws he made that day that were really accurate. That was by far and away, to me, the best game of his career. I would disagree with one thing Tom said. I'm not sure the Patriots are going to have to score all that much to win this game if they win this game. I think the Vikings are a fine offense. They are certainly flawed. The left tackle injury, Christian Darrisaw, is a massive one. He's arguably the best tackle in football this year. And the Cowboys got after Kirk Cousins again and again and again. They've been doing it all year. The Patriots have a great pass rush as well. So this, to me, is shaping up to be a run the ball for both teams, low-scoring type of game. And we could be coming away from another one that's played like early, low double digits, maybe even single digits.
3-3.
And we're saying, no, the Patriots defense won them another.
Good thing we'll have lots of wine at Thanksgiving to get through that one. I mean, and I guess the reason I say the Patriots feast on quarterbacks like that is because Kirk Cousins isn't going to make plays with his feet. He's like Mac Jones, and I think if the Patriots defense had to go against Mac Jones, they would feast on him. Let's compare, by the way, Mac Jones and Kirk Cousins. Before the start of the season, Mac was ranked ahead of Kirk Cousins on the NFL's 100 list. Mac's stats for the season are not even close, though, to Cousins' stats. But as we all know, Jones was sidelined for a period of time with that ankle injury. Kirk has almost 1,000 more passing yards, 10 more touchdowns, and just a single interception more than Mac does. Guys, for so long, Phil, the narrative here has been, if Mac Jones can just be Kirk Cousins, if Mac Jones can just be Kirk Cousins. But I am starting to wonder, is that enough? Like, that's enough to make you 8-2 and close games and good, but is it enough to win you a Super Bowl, and is that enough in the long run?
That's why I think this season for Kirk Cousins and the Vikings is fascinating, because they are pretty good across the board. They're not really great anywhere except with Justin Jefferson, maybe arguably the running back, Dalvin Cook. But their offensive line is just good enough. The defense is just good enough, but pretty well balanced, secondary in front. And so can a quarterback take a team like that and continue on this stretch that they're on and come away with a 1 or 2 seed and home field advantage and make a real run to the Super Bowl? I don't think that can happen, but if they can do it, I think Patriots fans should be looking at that and saying, well, hey, Kirk Cousins just did it. Why can't we?
There's not 32 quarterbacks on the planet who can bring a team Super Bowl wins. Some of them you just have to build around, as Phil is saying, and Mac will be one of those quarterbacks. There's 5 or 6. Look, I love Justin Herbert. I can't stop watching him play. I think he's terrific. But even him, with his talent, he's flawed. He's not good enough to lug the team all over the place and win games. And Mac Jones isn't him, nor is Kirk Cousins him. So we do get wistful about should they move on to the next guy. What the devil you know sometimes, whether it's Cousins or Jones, is probably preferable than just jumping back into the pool and ending up with Sam Darnold around your neck.
I've always thought that Cousins is a guy you could not win a Super Bowl with, and I still kind of believe that. But for our podcast this week, we talked to a guy by name Phil Mackey, who does a very popular podcast in Minnesota that I would name right now if I remembered it. But he was talking about
only popular in Minnesota.
How Cousins is playing right now. And he's talking about the numbers are down because he's taking chances. He used the example, the famous catch from Justin Jefferson in Buffalo. He said T.J. Hawkinson was wide open for about 8 yards. The old Kirk Cousins throws it to T.J. Hawkinson. His numbers look great, completion percentage. You didn't get the first down, you lose the football game. They've asked him to throw, stop me if you've heard this before, 50-50 balls down the field this year. Don't be check down Charlie, the guy you've been in the past. And your numbers may be hurt, but he's made more plays in the fourth quarter. They've been able to win close games down the stretch. So maybe this is an example of he's going to where he enters that league of, with the talent around him, great talent on offense, maybe he can win a Super Bowl.
Well, that's what I was about to say. So what we're saying is maybe Mac Jones with better talent around him could be a Kirk Cousins. Maybe those 50-50 balls are more 75-25 than 50-50, or what they've been this year,
Justin Jefferson.
Like 25.
Right. If he had a Justin Jefferson, if he had an offensive line that was a little bit more consistent, I know that their left tackle, again, just got hurt, but they've been pretty good all year long. And they're still doing that. They have that talent, Tom, even with Kirk Cousins making $30 million a year. Like, the Patriots have this unbelievable advantage with a quarterback who's, I think, kind of already in Kirk Cousins' class. He kind of showed it last year. He proved it last year. And yet they still just don't have the playmakers around him the way that this guy does.
And it's going to be hard for them to go ahead and grab those playmakers because, there's guys like Jonnu Smith, who the Patriots actually featured a little bit last week. He's still making a ton of money. Judon's making a ton of money. So that's $60 million that they may have to spend in this offseason. If you want to allocate it to positions, you've got a lot of money already going to what would be ostensibly skill position places. And the guy who just rolled into the end zone, Jacoby Myers, you have to pay him if you want to stay good or try and get better. Good. I don't know why I said stay.
You're probably trying to pay an offensive tackle too, right? I mean, you may be paying somebody along the offensive line who's not catching passes for you. Maybe it keeps you upright. Maybe it helps the passing game, Andy, but he's not a weapon.
That's my biggest question right now about the offseason and the trying to surround Mac Jones is this newfound idea that the weakest part of the team is the offensive line. We thought they needed weapons. We thought they were going to target weapons. Now, if you need to solidify the offensive line and you spend your money, your resources there, well, how do we get the Justin Jefferson or the other aspects, the Hawkinson? They have a second receiver.
Although maybe if you had a little more time, you could find even just the guys that you have.
Exactly. I think Hunter Henry's a good player. I think Smith has talent that has to be tapped. I think Kendrick Bourne is good. I think Myers is good. I do. I really
good.
think. And I
But
think
none of them
Devontae
are
Parker's
great. Like
good.
if we're comparing them
That's
to the
okay.
Vikings,
If you could run
you could
out
argue they
5
have an
good
all-pro running back, tight end, wide receiver. Like you can make that argument that those three
And you
guys
could
are
argue
all-pro caliber.
that the Patriots have Pro Bowl level 2 out of 3, and I would say
Ish.
when you add all the other ones up, there's a Pro Bowl guy there.
I feel like this with this Patriots roster, we've added a lot.
There was some manipulation
We've added
there.
a lot
That
of
was some pigeon math
high-priced,
right there.
middle-of-the-road guys to try to make one big one. That's what the Patriots have done.